All right, good morning, everybody. Today is uh what's the date today? It is Wednesday, March 27th, and as usual, doing analysis for US 30, gold, EU, and BTC. Uh Daily bias for US 30 is bullish, daily bias for gold is bullish, daily bias for EU is bearish, daily bias for the US dollar is bullish. Starting off here with the zones. Inner supply for US 30 on the 15-minute time frame is at 39,664. And always like waiting for the first 15 minutes of New York Open before taking any trades. So I've marked my supply and demand zones. I'm using this trend lines because if you guys remember last year when when we were doing supply and demand, we used to use trend lines, and by then we used to mark them up manually. But here I'm just using this trend line from TradingView. I think it's called, if I look it up, let's see. Um, it's called something in the, let's see, trend line. Should be the first one. Trend line by OM, whatever, OMIDB and B. It has like 1,000 downloads. But this is just a simple trend line. It just gives you two trend lines per chart. I know there's others out there that give you multiple trend lines, but this is the one I'm using. Sometimes, depending on the chart you're using, it may disappear. I think it has like a calculation error. But for the most part, I just need it when I'm marking up my zones. So here, if US 30 gets to this zone and it's 15 minutes past New York Open, I'll go ahead and take a sell on US 30. So you can see even the 30-minute time frame, this matches up with that supply zone for US 30, somewhere above there. So we'll just observe and see how that happens. And I'll just leave the zones on for now. So the 15-minute and 30-minute lineup for US 30 for gold, I didn't have a chance to do gold or any other instrument to actually I was able to do gold, yeah. So for gold, 15-minute buy down here at 2175. For the supply zone on gold, I'm wary about this supply zone here at 2200. So I'm leaving this supply zone at 2212-ish area. So somewhere around actually here, somewhere around 2211. So that's where I'm leaving the 15-minute one. As much as down here, these are inner supply zones. Let's see, let me go back. This zone's right here at 2198. They are at the very bottom of this big zone right here. So I would rather take the sells at the highs. In any case, gold looks like it's closer to this demand than supply. But anyway, we'll see what gold does when it comes to around those areas. The other thing I can look up, we do have bearish order blocks at 2197. So what I'll do, I'll just set an alert at 2198 and we'll see what price does when gold gets to 2198. I do see also it's corresponding to this trend line to the upside. Same thing for the 30. For the 30-minute, same thing. Inner demand, I'm liking the buys at 2169. Inner supply for gold on the 30-minute. Yes, I do see some sort of supply at 2200. But I'm liking this sell at the very top, which is at the all-time high, which is at 2222. So mostly I'm liking the buys on gold for now rather than the sells. EU, I'm not really focusing on EU as much anymore, but when it comes to the inner demand for EU, this is somewhere at the bottom here. So somewhere at 1.0, this is tricky. It has too many zones. Let me see how big this would be. So somewhere at 1.0, actually just at the bottom of this, 1.07897. That would be my ideal buy on EU. But again, I'm not trading EU as much anymore. It moves a bit too slow for my liking, even on these zones. but that's the buy area for EU. For the sell area for EU, there's this inner supply zone, and I think it was already tapped pre-market open at 1.08350, and that corresponds. So the trend lines just help me identify, or not identify, they help me see if the zones I've marked up are next to any trend line. So that also gives like a slight added confluence right there. On the 30-minute, the buy still remains down here at 1.0797. The supply comes a little bit down to 1.08443. So I go ahead and mark that up. And I set an alert there so that if price gets there, I just get alerted. And I can turn off the zones here since I'm not even trying to do too much with EU. For this indicator, so you can see like on the 30-minute time frame, it froze. So sometimes you just have to reapply it to the chart or change time frames and go back to whatever time frame you wanted. But I'll try and get a fix for that as well. BTC, I don't see any trades for BTC based off of where price is at. Price would have to come all the way to this zones up here for a sell. For a buy for BTC, we have a demand zone at 69,400. So that's the next demand zone for BTC. So go ahead, and what time is it? It's 9:42. So 3 more minutes before I can start looking for any trades. So I'll set a buy alert for BTC here. And turn that off. On the 1 hour time frame for BTC, demand zone still remains at 66,786. Supply zone for the hourly, actually, there is a current running supply zone for BTC. So BTC is in the supply zone on the hourly, which is right here at 70,606. But that trade would be running. Yeah, that trade I think would have already been running 70,606. 70,606 right here. And then the entry would have been, this may have gotten stopped out depending on when somebody entered, but that's the buy on BTC. So what I can do, I can also set an alert here. If BTC comes back to this area during the live session, can probably take that as well. And it will probably tap. So it is, what time is it? It's 9:44. So in a minute, I'll see if I want to take that BTC entry. The other thing I've done, also reduced. So the thing with this supply and demand entries, you get a bunch during the day. So previously I was only like taking 2 trades a day, but with this supply and demand entries, I get like 4 or 3 trades a day. So nowadays, I've halved my risk from 1% per trade to like 0.5% per trade. So still overall giving myself an overall 2% risk for the day. But I still risk the same amount per day, but it gives me leeway of taking more trades in the day. So for this BTC trade, looking at BTC for now, let me see if so it's currently 7:45 or 9:45 a.m. So that one went by too fast. I'll set another alert here as well at the same price point, 70,500. Yeah, because that dipped pretty quick. So I'll create an alert. I think keeps getting triggered because of slippage. Put it here. Yeah, that one went by so fast. because the sell would have been here, 945, 70,429. Yeah, BTC dropped so fast, but it triggered that supply zone, inner supply zone, and triggered so fast. Try and set another alert here. Okay. On the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame for BTC, 61,400 would be a nice buy area. 4-hour time frame, again, you can see the same zone, even related to the trend line, around 70,000. Let's see what this 4-hour is. I would say 70,900 in this instance. So I will create an alert there for BTC as well for the 4-hour time frame. Come here. All right, let's see. I don't think US30 has triggered. So US30 is almost at the entry point. So just need a little bit more of a slight push. I was observing this little zone right here, but it's too small of a zone. I would prefer US30 going to 39,664 as opposed to this zone right here, 632. So hoping we get a push up for US30 and would take that entry. All right, for the 1-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame for US30, 1-hour entry, the nearest one would be all the way up here at 39,900 area, which I do see this as likely. This may come in later on, posts like mid New York. Actually, no, 39,894 area, which I already have an alert there previously. So that's the hourly for US30. Hourly buy for US30 moves up to 39,441. And this goes up there. So need to put a alert here. All right. Hourly for gold. Hourly trade for gold moves down to 2,211. This moves there. And hourly buy for gold remains at 2170. Hourly buy for EU. So I know we are rejecting off of that trend line, but hourly buy for EU, I would prefer 1.08021. And this looks like a nice one also for EU. And the sell remains at 1.08661. So some of these higher time frames don't change day to day. And then the 4-hour setups. Just refresh the trend line. 4-hour setups. US30 sell remains at 39,867 on the 4-hour. The buy remains at 39,135. For gold, gold doesn't really have, because this supply zone right here is only based off of one candle. So I don't like supply or demand zones that are based off of one candle. But buy zone remains at 2170. For EU, buy zone on the 4-hour remains at 1.0797. Sell zone or supply zone remains here at 1.093. I don't think we're going to even get there today. So for today, looks like just this US30 sell that's about to trigger. So that's probably the only trade we're going to have on the live session today. BTC is also coming back up again. So with BTC, and there's the alert would have to be here. So this BTC one, so probably a BTC trade based off of the hourly, and a US30 trade based off of the 15 minutes. So this is that BTC trade. We'll see if it triggers, and the alert would be somewhere up here. Let's see, reset this. And for BTC, I do like a $500 stop loss and $1,000 TP. But mostly I'm looking to catch this US 30 sell right here. And I'm liking this since it also lines up with the trend line above here. So I know we haven't traded in a long, long time. I think for the past last week we didn't have any official trades. Um, And I need to add a no trade on Monday, no live session yesterday. All right. See if this US 30 triggers. So either the 30-minute or the 15-minute would be good entries for US 30. Because if US 30 breaks 39,664, if you look at the other time frames, the 1 hour, this is supplies on based off of one candle. So this might not even hold if US 30 breaks up here. And you can see the next area for sales would be all the way up there at 39,894. And even on the 4 hour time frame. So I'm liking the 15-minute and 30-minute, because ideally there's nothing above that. Above that, you go into the hourly and 4 hour territory. So this is the last holding line for US 30. BTC dropped, didn't get to our sell area just as of yet. So remember the sell zone for BTC is that 70,700. So I know we missed that initial first drop, but has to get back to 70,700 for me to even start thinking of selling it. Just need some more pushes here. News today. It's the 27th. And I'll take screenshots of those zones and just send them in the chat in case we don't get any entries during the live. Yes. Seven. So this is for US 30. Let me turn this zones off for now. Even this trend line, just turn it off. Trade ideas. Go for gold. I'm gonna go for EU. Then Bitcoin. Bitcoin is coming to a 30-minute demand. Not bad. Bitcoin. BTC, and then the hourly timeframes for US 30 gold and EU. And the 4-hour timeframes for US 30 gold and EU as well. All right, so I sent all those screenshots in the trade ideas. So you can just monitor those areas, and when price gets to those areas, just make sure you have your own confluences for entering those trades. I'll just wait for this US 30 trade till like about 10:15 and see. Hopefully it does fill during this session. If not, then that would be it for today. So today, looking at things, I'm probably only going to catch this US 30 trade. I really don't see gold coming to any of these areas. Gold looks like it's in a bunch of consolidation. Looks like it may break to the upside, but was hoping for it to come to the demand area first, 2175. EU, again, I'm not trading EU actively anymore. Prefer BTC over EU. So we missed that BTC sell happened too quickly at 9:45, but there's still that supply area. And even for BTC, you can see it's in heavy consolidation as well. Yeah, so today I'm only seeing myself taking the BTC sell later on if BTC comes back to 70,700, and taking this US 30 sell if indeed we do retrace to the upside. There's definitely some selling pressure on US 30, but hoping we tap in this 39,664 area before any possible dump. The other part for this US 30 trade as well, so always look at structure as well. So the other things you can see here, we do have this 4-hour bearish low order block, which is almost at our stop loss. But if you want, probably the US 30 hourly sell is better, and this might actually happen later on today, post, towards the end of New York. The reason I'm saying that is if you look at the structure on US 30 on the 15-minute time frame, we have this dip, we have this consolidation here. And remember, for these instruments, they do like completing structures. So this, I would say it's sort of a medium risk trade, because what might happen here, you might get break even, which would be a good best case scenario is comes back, hits TP, and then goes all the way back up. But I do see this structure being completed at some point. So so hopefully definitely something like this, or even hits break even, achieves a 1:1, and then comes back to this area, which if you look at the 1-hour time frame, 39,880, that's towards the 1-hour sell zone. So if you don't have enough leverage, so for me, I did say I lowered my risk to even comply with the NSF account consistency rules. And also, since the supply and demand entries give us multiple entries during the day, I'm not now only taking 2 trades a day. I'm taking at most 4 trades a day, but I just end up lowering my risk to 0.5% per trade and still giving myself an allowance of 2% risk for the day. So even with that setup of 4 trades, you can lose 2 back-to-back trades, And for the third trade, if you win the third trade, you're back to break even. If you lose the third trade as well and win the fourth trade, you're just like minus 0.5% for the day. So it's kind of hard. Well, it's not kind of hard, but if you are applying proper risk management and taking quality entries, it's kind of hard for you to lose 3 back-to-back trades in any given day. But even if you do that and win the fourth one, you're just down for the day like 0.5%. So that's what I noticed, because when I started doing this, or when I went back to doing this supply and demand, sometimes I was taking a loss, sometimes even 2 back-to-back losses, and this is even back testing. And I used to take, or I noticed that sometimes I was and mostly on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is pretty heavy and you have a bunch of slippage on it. So I was noticing that, and especially on BTC, I was ending up with like 2 losses during the morning session of New York. And then in the afternoon, I get an entry for US 30 or gold. And then I'm like, okay, I've already used my 2% risk for the day, so I have nothing else to do for that day. So that's another reason why I decided to keep the same overall daily risk, but then lower my risk per trade. So BTC is back up again. I think this is now the demand zone. Yes. So this is the demand zone for BTC. Let's see. Only thing with BTC is the spread. I'm not a fan of the BTC spread. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So this is perfect. And we want to see these zones holding. So if I go now to the 5-second time frame, where now I would be looking to take an entry. So here, what I'm looking for is see my trade manager. I'm looking for a crossover buy right here. So I'm looking for that green X. So it can keep dropping. So there it is. And if I do get that crossover buy, I'll take the buy on BTC. So I'm doing like a $500 stop loss and $1,000 TP. I want to start experimenting with a $750 stop loss and $1,500 TP just to avoid slippage, because a bunch of the losses I've seen while backtesting are slippage based or spread based. So let's see. Especially on my Next Step funded account, the slippage or spread on Bitcoin is trash. See if we get that. So for you guys, I'll do 0.75, but if you want to cut your risk like me, you can do I actually entered that trade too early. Okay, but that's the entry right there. I probably got a better entry. So that's the trade for BTC. Oh shit, I forgot to enter on my other account. Let's see. This is probably gonna be a little late for my other account. Yeah, but BTC moves pretty fast. What else? What else? So this is based off of, what was that, 30-minute at 69,283. And let me do this as well. Let me add a 250.
You said you want to buy on BTC?
Yeah, I'm buying BTC. It's a 30-minute demand area. I want to add a 250 zone. 780 less 250 is 530. 530. Right. The reason I'm doing this, I definitely want to start experimenting with the 750 point stop loss and 1,500 or $750 stop loss and $1,500 dollar TP. That's the reason I'm doing this. But the one I'm in, I have a $500 stop loss and $1,000 TP. I just want this side by side for comparison. Anyway, so US 30 melted. Unfortunately, this I think it covered or it took that 30-minute. There was like a 30-minute small zone in there, so maybe that's what US 30 took. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get this, but if it does come back, that's still a supply zone or inner supply zone. And this one here for BTC, I want to mark it on the 30-minute time frame. This is 69,283. That's the entry. So this is based off of this. I'll check this out. So 69,283. 283. So that's the entry right there. This is it. Um, All right. 69 to 83. All right. So this one, so I'm still in the trade. On one of my accounts, I got in pretty late on that, but just in like minimal drawdown on that or halfway through. But I definitely want to see this 750 because if I get taken out of this one, because with backtesting, I've had like 50-50 results. And with the 1:2 risk to reward, that's not bad because that that's been like break even backtesting for BTC. But I might, if I get stopped out of this and BTC takes out the $500 stop loss and doesn't take the 751, going forward, I'll move BTC over to a $750 stop loss and 1,000 or $1,500 TP. The other one I was thinking was like $1,000 stop loss and $2,000 TP, but that's a bit too much, and you might be holding that trade for hours and hours, especially if there's low volatility or you just end up at break even. So the as much as this one is a bit too, it's a little steep for BTC or a little small for BTC. But the best thing is if you pick up that supply or that demand that you're getting, price moves pretty quickly in whatever direction, whether it's to your stop loss or to your TP. And then you just have to reevaluate your trade depending on the result. Uh, Still in that one. Right, so let's see what's going on the 30-minute, if that demand has been taken out. So demand is still there. So even this one, let's see, I'm almost getting tapped out for that trade, not yet. But yeah, so this was good. This was a nice demand area. Hasn't been taken out. So this is another part I want to observe, that 751, because the next demand area for BTC on the 30-minute is all the way down to all the way at 66,381. Okay, so I got tapped out of that BTC, took that loss on BTC, but this is now the part that I want to check out, that 750. So even in this instance, the 750 would have gotten taken out. Now I want to see the reaction, if we get any other reaction. But this one, I took that loss on Bitcoin. So in this instance, so this still remains a demand zone for BTC at 69,400. If price keeps going down, of course, I'll readjust and move this down again to 66,800-ish. Actually, no, 66,400. So for that, I'm just going to record this as minus 0.75%. So this brings the overall return for this month to J19 to just break even. Right. Yeah. So that's just break even. So now with my four trades of the day, as much as I've taken the loss on that BTC, I can still take, as I still have 3 more trades for the day. Possibly catch this US 31, or maybe I don't see any gold trade validating today, or still catch any other BTC trade. So if BTC wants to drop to 66,786. Again, I'll just take it there. If it comes back up, I don't think I'll take it. I do see this as a possible stop hunt, but I'll be able to tell what happens if price keeps dropping further down, 68,544, or if it goes back. So for example, right here, if BTC does this, then in future, I'll probably consider changing this stop loss of 500 points. But if BTC keeps dropping from where it's at right now, I'll just know that this was just one of the days that my analysis or my expectation was wrong. And I really won't change the 500 stop loss and $1,000 TP. But I definitely much prefer BTC to EU because of that quick movement. Regardless of the losses, that's fine as well. You definitely learn as you go. But yeah, so this US 30, this was too close, almost triggered. But unfortunately, nothing came in for that. Let me just take a screenshot of this BTC trade for my journal. Let's come on, save. All right. So for me, I'm actually back at break even for the day. I had a 4K US 30 win yesterday from that demand that I took. Actually, I'm still up 15. I'm still up for the day on US on all my accounts. I'm up 1500 on one and 500 on the other. Let's see this history. For any of you guys who use the SAR, there's something else I've been kind of observing. So if you guys remember for the SAR, when we were using the SAR and supply and demand strategies together, so we would look at where the SAR entry validated, and then before entering, look at where so for example, if it was a buy, would then look at where the nearest demand zone was. So the idea was if your SAR entry validates further from or close enough, or an SAR buy validates close enough to a demand zone, you would wait for price to retrace to the demand zone, and you go ahead and enter at the demand zone. So which was one of the reasons why I kind of stopped using the SAR strategy for now, because the supply and demand strategy was the final confluence. Now, the other thing I was looking at, so same thing, but in reverse. So if you're looking for a supply and demand entry, so for example, let's backtest this entry taken here. So we had this alert on BTC at 69,283, that inner demand. So one aspect of this, and I think this is better for BTC because it's fast moving compared even to US30 or even gold most of the times. So one thing that I was looking at also is to look at where the nearest SAR joints are. So the best case scenario, right, is to have like some SAR levels close to your entry. But if you don't have any SAR levels close to your entry, you look at where next you find your SAR levels around that area. So if you turn on the momentum or any indicator that has the SARs configured, you see this zone right here, which is 68,646, that had like a double SAR, right? So part of the, and again, I'm still backtesting this, but part of the idea here is if this is your inner demand zone, and this is again for BTC, I haven't looked at gold and US30, but this is mostly for BTC because of how ideally it's fast paced. So if you look at where your demand is, then you look at where the nearest SARs are, the nearest concentration of SARs, and this was around 68,625. So in this instance, as much as you're looking for your inner demand area at 69,300, or I think it was 282 region, one expectation would be for price to either drop here and go there. That would be your best case expectation. But your other expectation can be going past your stop loss, tapping the nearest SAR. So remember, SAR stands for stop and reverse. So going back to or touching that and reversing back up. So these are two scenarios. So it doesn't always happen. Even in my back testing, there are times where BTC or whatever instrument you're trading, even regardless of any SARs close by, would come here and go back up. And we've seen this, with US30, we've seen this with gold, but there are times when it's going to drop here. So here there's two instances, especially based off of how BTC moves quickly. Probably splitting your risk and entering your first position here. So let's say you're risking 0.5% per trade, entering maybe your first, so if your normal lot size with 0.5% is 4 lots or 2 lots on BTC, maybe you enter your first lot here and you have an open stop loss. And then if price gets to this zone, you enter your next lot size. So maybe another 1 lot or whatnot. And then, but you still keep your overall stop loss. So whether it's a $2,000 stop loss or $1,000 stop loss, you just split between those two positions. And going forward on this one, you'll see where it came and tapped, right? Came and tapped that zone right there. So it's just something I observed. We're just doing some back testing, so maybe you guys can do that as well. Primarily for BTC. So it's either that or you do like $1,000 stop loss, $2,000 TP, or 15,750 stop loss, because you can see this came back up. So this ideally was a stop trade. So this is the reason I look for some of these confluences, is to allow me to avoid getting stop hunted. Because seeing this, you know, I normally ask myself, okay, I pretty much knew there was going to be reaction on BTC around this zone. Then I asked myself, how could I avoid, you know, how could I have avoided you know, that stop trade? So that's just something to consider there, and I'll be looking at it for BTC as well going forward. For US30, using the same analogy for US30 in this trade that didn't trigger. So here, if you're using it for US30, you would be curious to see if you have any sell side SARs here around this zone, right? Beyond your stop loss area. So here, if I go here and change this to the sell SARs, and I turn this on, so I do have that one here as well. So here for US30, if US30 comes back up here, and if you guys remember, we have I think it's a 4-hour bearish low for US30 at 39,700. So seeing this, maybe I'll do the same thing for US30. If US30 comes back up here, and my normal lot size is like I think on one of my other accounts, it's a 40 lot. So maybe I do 10 lots here with US30 at first. And then I'm expecting US30 or price to go against me for a little while and probably even stop me out if I was using a bigger lot size. But then at 39,700, I have a 4-hour bearish low, and I also have those concentrated or double SARs there. So here, this is a possible scenario for US30 if US30 comes back up here, something like this and something like this. So knowing that this can happen, so maybe if US30 comes back up, I'll first enter with like a smaller lot size. And then if it goes up here, I enter my final lot size. And this will allow me to spread my stop loss by maybe another 30 points or something away from this zone. So that's just another way of looking at it. Yeah, but I don't see anything else to look at for now. So that will be it for today. I'm definitely still looking to catch more trades if they do present themselves, because I have 3 more trades I can take for the day before hitting my 2% drawdown or pre-allocated drawdown for the day. I don't see myself getting into any EU trade. For this BTC trade, and the reason I said this zone was pretty much going to hold as well, because if a zone is mitigated or if a zone is taken out, you'd have seen all these green zones disappearing, right? And I think we've seen that in the past too on the live session. So if reverse price action is going to take away or liquidate all this demand or all these buyers sitting here, you'll find that these zones would have disappeared with that huge bearish candle. All these green zones would have disappeared. But even when our trade was hitting stop loss, all these green zones was still present. So that's why I still considered this like a good trade or a good trade idea. It's just that unfortunately got stop hunted or stop rated. And I think for now we would have been like nicely at 1:1 risk to reward. But anyway, so it's just a matter of just back testing. So even for you guys, it doesn't have to be supply and demand, doesn't have to be SARs. So look at that 69,400 region and find out why did this happen, and then forward test that in other instruments, because this happened with US30. The US30 trade that I took yesterday, and I think I took it at 4 p.m. I took it here. It was the same trade idea, that same thing that happened with BTC. So we had this consolidation right here, and then we had a inner demand zone with US30. So pretty much the same thing that happened with BTC, same thing. So when US30 tapped, my buy was at 39,344. And I'd also sent this in. This is one of the morning trades that we missed, or that I even missed. And I know yesterday we didn't have a live session. So this was the same zone that we had that buy. So 39,400. So when US 30 entered that zone, so you see that stop hunt, that manipulation. So this is what I was expecting to happen to BTC. I wasn't expecting it to go all the way to the stop loss area. So even the next candle, right, and then went all the way back up and through Asia session. So that's the trade that I actually won overnight here, and that was ideally the same setup for BTC, but BTC just having that extra liquidity or pushes in the market compared to even US 30. Maybe for BTC, you also need to consider other confluences, and I've just given you guys like that SAR confluence for it. So, but I'll definitely also be back testing or forward testing that with BTC, identifying those SAR regions. But yeah, anyway, other than that, so that will be it. So minor loss for the day today brings us at break even for the day. And I'm sorry, brings us at minus 0.75% for the day, and overall for the month at break even. But unless you guys have any questions, I'll catch you guys later on. So this demand zone on BTC still holds. You can see it hasn't gone anywhere. So even for me here, what I'll do, I'll still set an alert for BTC. So let's see what we can do here for BTC. So BTC, I do see this in a demand at 69,415, 69,415 zone right there. And do this. I'll add an alert. And then what I'll do, I think I'll do the same thing. So if BTC comes back down here, I'll think of doing what I just talked to you guys about. So I think I entered with how many lots on BTC? 4 lots on BTC. So if BTC comes back down here, I'll probably do like a fill a lot of 1 lot. If it comes back down here, I do like a 3 lot or 2 lot or something like that. So that's probably what I'll do, given that I don't see myself taking any other trades today unless US 30 comes back up. But I've already sent all these markups to you guys in the Discord. So go ahead and analyze them and see which one. There's a updated buy zone on US 30 at 39,504. So this is an updated buy zone for US 30. So this wasn't present when we were doing the initial markups. So that's another one on US 30 if you want to mark it on your chart. 39,504 on the 15-minute time frame. On the 30-minute time frame, remains as 39,457. So the 30-minute one looks more efficient or more optimal than the 15-minute, but I'm liking this one as well. I'm liking this 15-minute buy entry on US 30. Yeah. All right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ping me in the Discord, but that will be it for the day. All right, guys. See you.